Good morning, Rabbi Isai. No. That's not going to do it. I'm going to need your help. Remendi. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. All right, whatever. Have an easy fast, everybody. Givaldik. Wow. Leilui Nishmasim Yosef Mordechai. We have here. Today is the day we're going to do the raffle. You could scan the barcode on the bottom. Here in Eretz Yisrael, it's a Traktoronim trip. We have an email from Michal Rakovsky. Shalom Aleichem. Bekitzer, he's an avrech in the koilel here in Eretz Yisrael, and he doesn't do Daf Yomi, but he does do Daf Yomi. I wasn't exactly sure. He learns all day, but he wanted to see what's going on, and he started Sanhedrin. He started doing Daf Yomi Sanhedrin. When he reached Daf Yud Gimel, and he remembered the whole famous sugi of Tkufas and everything, couldn't believe it. So he comes back to Koilel and he starts telling the guys in Koilel, and then all of a sudden one guy says, "Oh, of course, I saw that shir. It was Givaldik." Kids, are 4 guys in the Koilel are doing this shir that he didn't know about, and I'm just skipping around here. And then he said, one guy said, "Did you see the shir where Mendy Goldstein made a siyum on zechus chagiga? A balabas got up and made it because he was traveling on a plane, coming from Eretz Yisrael to America and back, finished the entire zechus chagiga." Now, it's not about Daf, it's about the Yomi. I'll add, the Torah, it's not just about the Torah, it's about the Geshmak in the Torah. May Hashem bless you and all those assist you. Givaldik. So we have very, very good news. We've been working on something for, a couple of years already. And Baruch Hashem, with the help of different people, a lot of people that know the owners, finally yesterday, for the very first time, I received this from 2 travelers. Rabbi Isai, take a look. Here it is. It's on Elal. But not, it's Givaldik, thank you Elal. But this is Baba Basra. So they can't do the live, but we're getting there. Lot, here it is. It's a season 1. There's different episodes, you can grab an episode. Episode Daf Daled. It's very chashuv, yeah. It's exciting stuff. Okay, I want to read another email here. I have a lot of stuff. Oh, Dave G, Lexus RX 300. I love this email address, Lexus RX 300. How you share changed my life. Dear Reb Eli, I've been following you for a number of years on social media, enjoying the crazy shtick you do and say on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and other platforms. I even signed up for your WhatsApp group. I didn't know we're on TikTok. We're on TikTok, Avi? However, until recently, I'd never opened up a Gemara committed to learning the Daf. For a while, I felt empty in my life. I'm not naturally a learner or a self-starter, and self-esteem has always been a challenge for me. I'm my own worst enemy. Then I happened to come across your promo videos and ads on VIN News and Yeshiva World News, encouraging people to join Sanhedrin. I decided to take the plunge, and for the first time ever, purchased an ArtScroll Gemara for Sanhedrin. Even then, my Yetzer Hara kept whispering, "This isn't for you." Things changed when one of my close friend's son, 26 years old, married with 2 kids, suddenly collapsed before Hanukkah, is in critical need of Refuah Shelaima. The situation is not good, needs a miracle. His name is Mordechai Simcha Ben Chana Mina. What's your son-in-law's brother's name? Binyamin. Ben Daniela Margalit. Shver Matzev. Didn't wake up yet.
Everyone should be davening.
In his merit for salvation, I resolved to open up the Gemara and follow along with Daf Yomi Shir. I started Sanhedrin, haven't missed a day yet. I even learned on a plane during travel. As the saying goes, one day at a time. The beginning was extremely difficult. This is an email for all those who are beginning. The beginning was extremely difficult. I struggled to understand what was happening and couldn't retain much of what I learned. The Yitzhar kept telling me to give up, saying things like, "You're an idiot, this isn't for you." But I pushed through, and so far I've reached Daf Chav Gimel and completed 2 Parakim. Yesterday's Daf Chav Beis had me rolling on the floor with laughter. My wife, who overheard me from my office, was also plotzing. Yeshir is the best I've ever experienced. Geshmak doesn't even begin to describe it. I don't know, what was the so funny in Daf Chav Beis?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Thank you for everything you do. I mean, I don't understand every detail of the Daf, but your teaching has given me so much. Those are the answers I'm looking for. Because when you start saying Rambams and stuff like that, I mean, I don't understand everything of the Daf, but your teaching has given me so much. I now look forward to your kind of good morning, Rabbi Sayah, every night at 11 p.m. With gratitude and big thank you, name withheld, somewhere in the middle of the United States of America, Central Standard Time. Wow, Yishkoyach Central Standard Time.
It was
Lexus RX 300. Huh? That was the Daf?
Yeah.
Second wife? What was so funny? Okay, that was more serious, no? Oh, we had a bacher here last night, and I read his email yesterday, but he came last night to the shir. I mentioned that his mother wrote an email, so I have her just to read this email. Honored Reb Eli is what we call you at home, Reb Eli, Harav Reb Eli. You don't even know but you've saved my son and mine's life as well. You have the credit because you rescued him from his crisis in Ruchnius and his entire life. Now he's Messiah for Masechtas, just after you almost threw everything in himself from the roof, all from your power. The invitation was sent. I don't want him to know about this email, that's why I wrote it in English. It's the Fashis Mamish, Kipshutoy. If you could come on Sunday, that was 3 months ago. Seems to be doing a chelik in the entire future. I cannot describe the great chesed Hashem, the shiurim. The kids are Aaron's mother. Unbelievable. He came last night. He said he's making siyum soon. He's in the middle of like 3 mesechtas. He's doing Sanhedrin and Baba Basra now. And Be'ez Hashem, he wants to invite me to the next. This is a very important message for all those who haven't started Shnai Mikra V'Cha Targum. Good evening, Reb Eli. Thank you. Today was I joined 6 months ago. Already feel like a devoted student. I'm familiar with the stories, the humor, and even some of the concepts of Shas. 15 years have passed since my bar mitzvah, and every Simchas Torah I make the resolution to properly complete Shnai Mikra V'Cha Targum in the coming year. Yet somehow by the next Simchas Torah I find that I'm falling off mid-year, of course, with good excuses. This year as Simchas Torah approached, I was ready with my annual resolution, but deep down I knew it was accompanied with a big bli neder, because it just didn't seem possible. Then to my surprise, in the middle of Daf Yomi shir, the Maggid Shir suddenly mentioned the topic of Shnai Mikra and explained how simple and easy it can be if you divide each aliyah by the day of the week. I realized that maybe this year I wouldn't need the bli neder. Maybe there was even a chance I can finish the entire year. So I was inspired and I posted a simple message in the WhatsApp forum of Shapsi, asking if there was any interest in creating a dedicated Shnai Mikra accountability group. To our great zechus, this led to the formation of a group with over 200 participants. Over 70 members now constantly complete Shnai Mikra every week, and more than 30 learn Rashi. What happened to Eitan G? I haven't seen him in a few, but
I started Shnai Mikra.
1 minute, I asked him what happened to Eitan G. I didn't ask you about you.
Eitan G.
Because of Eitan G.
Because he mentioned Uncle Lewis and
Yeah.
Uncle Parsha, I started the past few
Wow.
weeks.
So I don't know if you know, but Eitan G, if he finishes this parsha, I have to bring him on a helicopter ride somewhere. Yeah. And every month of Shabbos he would come. I guess he's in America. He would come with some sort of gift. They have to do with the parsha. The helicopter's here. Where is he? Where should we go with him? We have to go somewhere in Geshmak. Huh? He was here this week? I don't remember seeing him. Okay. Over time, we also established a secondary group. Bekitzer, says Avi Slayton, join. And we know that Shmois is Shnai Mikra V'Cha Targum plus the Gematria equals Eli Stefansky. Small Gematria, I have no idea. But okay, Gevaldik. So,
Can I come also on the helicopter?
that's why you stuck it in. Okay. Okay, Rabbi Isa, here we go. The Masechta, 4 Masechta sponsors, 4-month sponsors, 5-day sponsors, 2-week sponsors, Koilel sponsor. The Masechta sponsor Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masechta sponsor for Atzlacha Beruknis Begashmius. Larry Cohn, remember Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, he had to start learning Daf Yomi at age 70. The Masechta sponsor for the unity of the Jewish people. Parnassa Chodesh, Yiddish Nachas ben Moshe, Yiddish Nachas bas Yosef. Parnassa Chodesh, Yosef ben Chaya Sara for parnassa berevach. One of these sponsors wrote that he was saved benes, lives in California, and some of the houses around him were burned to the ground. Saved benes. L'nishmat Yafa bat Simcha Refuah Shelaima Yisrael Yaakov and Malka. And another parnassa chodesh as a zechus for our children, tremendous parnassa. Parnassa Shavuot last day. Naftuly Kraus should be zechus for Reb Eli to continue learning Geshmak and zechus. I am just throwing that in. Zechus Siyata Dishmaya, Yiddish Nachas, Shalom Bayis, to enjoy, remember, and teach Torah, parnassa, Refuah, and Atzlacha. Amen. Parnassa Shavuot, Elliot Hagler, in honor of completing my 5th cycle of Daf, and Mike Katz, who just started the Daf. Parnassa Yoim, Sprincy and Alan Gross. Zechus Shelaima ben Alevi, zechus Chaya bas ben Alevi, in honor of Noam Fix. Thank you for everything. An honorable mention. What a kiss from Hashem. I mentioned him last night. I'll mention him again today in middle shir. Noam Fix. Here, thank you for everything. By Moshe and Shani Shlafrak, Leilui grandfather Avram ben Ze'ev, zechron and mother Liba bas Meir aleh Shalom. Pinchas Byrne, otherwise known as Phil. Yesterday's yard side of my grandfather and namesake Pinchas Rock, Pinchas ben Yecheskel. Anonymous from RBS. You know the story now. Anonymous from RBS was asked for a shekel in the pushka and he didn't have, and he went like this. But that minute at 8:38, that's when his card went through, and 3,700 shekel went to MDY. So whoever was seeing it from the side thought that he's a stingy guy. But I knew the truth. Nishmas Harav Agoyin Reb Moshe Ben Yitzchok Meir Shapiro. Reb Moshe Shapiro Zechron Levracha. Parnas Hayoim Shidduch for Rivka Yehudas Bas Yafa Chaya. Should have a Shidduch B'Koroiv. Chayla of the day, Israela and Stephen Perlich for the yahrzeit of Israela's mother, Shari Blech, Sara Charna Bas Moshe Alexander. The art of the mother for zechus for Reb Eli and the whole of the wives have to continue to make Torah so enjoy for so many. Art of the mother and art of Yossi Klein, Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Our boys, here we go. So we had in the Mishnah the other day about two machlokes, whether or not the defendant could disqualify one of the dayanim and the edim. Could he just say, I don't like this dayan, or I don't like these edim? We asked, what do you mean? I don't like the edim. Shkoyach. Every defendant is going to say, I don't like the edim. Okay, so we had a few tirutzim. So the Gemara says like this. So yesterday we discussed, does anybody know, especially those who weren't here yesterday and did the daf on their own, do they know what the concept means, the concept of tzarich levarer? Tzarich levarer. What does that mean, tzarich levarer? Retroactive clarification. What is tzarich levarer? Here, the concept, tzarich levarer. Tzarich levarer means that when you offer, without being asked, you offer, you say, I actually have 10 edim that witness what happened. Tzarich levarer means you're required to bring all 10 edim. Bring them all, even though 2 are enough, but you opened your mouth. You said, you have 10, so bring all 10. And we said, so therefore, Reb Meir, who holds that you need to bring all 4, all 10, Reb Meir holds that you have the right to disqualify 2 edim out of the 10. Why? Because since you're required to bring all 10, so you're going to bring another 8. So you can disqualify 2. You're not biased to those 2 because you got rid of 2, but now you have 8 against you anyway. And now we're holding 7 lines from the bottom. Neima beplukta de Rebbe v'Reb Gamliel komifligi, where it gets wide, sort of. There's a very similar machlokes that we had all the way at the end of Bava Basra not too long ago, maybe a month ago. Machlokes Rebbe Reb Gamliel komifligi. The Sanya haba lidem b'shtar b'chazaka. So every kid in Cheder knows shtar. What does shtar mean? Shtar means I bought a property with a shtar. What does chazaka mean? Chazaka means I was sitting in the property for 3 years. But what else do you need besides saying I sat in the property for 3 years? Huh? Who else wants to say? That's a different type of chazaka. But in the chazaka of 3 years, they're saying you need a taina. Excellent. In other words, you can't just say, oh, I sat here for 3 years. That means nothing. You have to say, I bought it with a shtar, I bought it with money, whatever I bought it. And it happens to be, I don't have any proof because I sat here for 3 years. The 3 years is just coming to explain why I don't have proof. So let me ask you something. What if a person says, I bought it with a shtar, I'm sitting here for 3 years, in fact I have a shtar. Do you have to produce the shtar? Yes. You're saying yes. It makes sense. Why? Because the whole 3 years is only to say, I don't have a shtar because I lost it. But once you open up your mouth and you say, I have a shtar and it's in my closet, plus I have 3 years, so go bring your shtar. What do you mean that you have 3 years? 3 years is nothing. Huh? Okay, let's see. So this is the machloik. This is exactly the machloik. And this has to do with our sugi of tzarech levarer. When you open your mouth and you offer information that wasn't asked, do you have to provide it? A person says, I have a shtar and I have chazaka. Nidoim b'shtar divrei Rebbe. So says Rebbe, you must bring the shtar. You open your mouth, bring the shtar. What about the chazaka part? Do I have to prove you had chazaka? No, Rabbi say, you all answered before. Why don't you answer now? If you have a shtar, you have a shtar. You don't need chazaka. Chazaka just says, I had a shtar, but I'm showing you the shtar. So I don't need chazaka. Excellent. But which one of the two do I need to bring? The shtar. Because the whole point of the chazaka is to say I had a shtar. And now once I bring a shtar, I have to bring the shtar. And if I bring a shtar, I don't need chazaka, divrei Rebbe. So that's called tzarech levarer. According to Rebbe, tzarech levarer. I need the chazaka. I offered a shtar, but guess what? I don't want to bring it. I want to bring something else called chazaka. I'll bring 2 Eidim. I sat on this field for 3 years. What? I can only do chazaka? I can't bring a shtar? No. Elai ma'av chazaka. Fine. V'kaim alon. Av chazaka means I could do either one. I could bring chazaka, I could bring a shtar. V'kaim alon, the tzarech levarer pligi. It's mamish our sugya, whether or not tzarech levarer. It's a concept in Shas. I don't expect everybody to remember it forever, but it's another concept. Tzarech levarer. Now what? According to Rebbe, if you offer 2 things, you must bring 2. In this case, you don't have to bring both because one is instead of both. The shtar is just as strong as chazaka. You just bring the shtar. And according to Reb Eli, I can bring either or. Says Gemara, Loi. It's not exactly like our Mishnah, where the guy has 2 sets of Eidim, and because he has 2 sets of Eidim, he must bring both sets of Eidim. According to the Madam, it says tzarech levarer. And therefore, if I have to bring both, I could disqualify one on my own. Loi. I'll leave it to Reb Eli, Kulam Eloi Pligi. In our Mishnah, he would agree that you don't have to bring all Eidim. You don't need a tzarech levarer. You offered that there's 4, you don't have to bring all 4. Kipligi, alibi the Rebbe. In Rebbe, we have a machlokes, the Rebbe Rebbe. Rebbe Meir is going to hold like Rebbe that what? Once you offer something, you have to bring everything. No, it's not a good right. In the case of chazaka, the Mekoich Shtarikasi, the whole chazaka was only telling me that I used to have a shtar, just it got lost, and here instead of that I'm going to bring a raya that I sat at for 3 years. So B'meila, Rebbe says, bring the shtar. But the 2 sets of witnesses, the 2 sets of Eidim, have nothing to do with each other. Why would I have to bring both? I feel the Rebbe might then tzarech levarer. Even Rebbe agrees. Bring one set. One has nothing to do with the other. Over here, the shtar has everything to do with the chazaka. The chazaka has everything to do with the shtar. I'm saying I really had a shtar. I lost it. V'haraya. I was here for 3 years, and therefore I'm not required to keep it for so long. Going back to the Mishnah. What is the machlokes in the Mishnah? Can I disqualify Eidim? Can I disqualify a dayan? It sounds very, very hard to understand. It's not the pashas of the Mishnah. Somebody produces 2 Eidim and I say, you know what? I don't like them. They say I owe $1 million. You know what? They're nothings. They're a bunch of slaves. I don't know. How could I get disqualified? I'm biased. Says Gemara, Reisha Anupshat. Kyosar Rav, and he says, Reisha Beidim Psulim Dayanim Sherim. What happened was, I'm trying to disqualify the Eidim and the Dayanim. That's the Mishnah. So I'm the defendant. I'm the nitva, I come with a friend, and we say, you know, the Eidim and the Dayanim, they're no good next. They're all a bunch of psulim. And this is a Moyeridika idea. It's the idea called migui. We're not so familiar with this exact migui, but this migui would tell us, what does migui typically mean? Migui means, if, it's much what Ari was saying before, if I wanted to lie, I could have lied much better. Over here, it's going to mean, since I proved myself. When it comes to the witnesses, I claim that the witnesses are a bunch of ganavim and the dayanim are ganavim. And since I proved myself when it came to the witnesses, so I should be believed by the judges and the dayanim as well. Do we say such a concept? Migui. You hear? Interesting concept. I proved myself right with half, so just trust me on the rest of it. So migui, what happened was, I proved myself that the witnesses are apostle. But I couldn't prove myself with the dayanim. Be'edim psulim, dayanim ksherim. I had a double claim on witnesses and dayanim. I was only able to prove 50%. Eidim are apostle. The dayanim are still kosher. So says Reb Meir, migui the pasli eidim pasli nami dayani. I have a migui. If I prove myself that I'm not a liar when it comes to the witnesses, trust me also that these dayanim are also no good nicks. Seifa, and what's the rest of the Mishnah? The exact same story. I came to court with my friend and I'm testifying that the eidim are no good and the dayanim are no good. But what happened was I was only proved by the other stuff. Seifa b'dayanim psulim. Not that the eidim are apostle, the dayanim are apostle. And I could never prove the eidim part, the eidim ksherim. The migu, the pasal dayanim, pasal nami eidim. So Rameir says it goes both ways. If I can prove the eidim are no good, so we trust you on the dayanim. If I can prove the dayanim are no good, we trust you on the eidim. Basketball Rava, as Rava Vishlam, migu the pasal eidim, pasal nami dayanim. I can understand logically if we trust you that the eidim are apostle, so we're going to trust you that the dayanim are apostle. Because what's the worst case scenario? Okay, the dayanim are apostle. No, so then what? You go to another bezdin. Every 2 blocks there's another bezdin. Big deal. But if I say the opposite, if I trust you about the dayanim, why should I trust you about eidim? There's only one set of eidim that saw that I owe $1 million, not 1,000 people. 2 people saw it. If I get rid of these eidim, I'm parted from $1 million. How does that make any sense? There's another bezdin. But to say that if you trust me that the dayanim are liars, the ganavim, so I should also throw out the 2 only eidim that exist. I can't find the other eidim. Says the Gemara, something that we said yesterday. We're talking about, there's 4 eidim here, 2 and 2. You got rid of 2, there's another 2. Reb Meir holds, Tzarech levarer. What does Tzarech levarer mean, Rabbi say? If I say that this 4 eidim produce all 4, then Mela, if I have to produce all 4, I have the right to knock out 2 out of the 4. Why? Because I'm not biased. I'll get rid of 2, and I'll have another 2 later. What? No, Tzarech levarer. I'm saying Tzarech levarer. It's based on Tzarech levarer. I was mevarer it. I was mevarer the sugin. It's about Tzarech levarer. Yeah. It goes according to Tzarech levarer. So but what comes out that that's only because you have 4. So if you have 4, you're allowed to testify about 2. And what if you only have 2? So then you wouldn't be able to say anything because you're biased. So then it comes out that your teretz, your pshat, Rav's pshat and Rav Dimi's pshat is exactly the same. Says the Gemara, no, at the end of the day, we have an afkemina whether or not we use this whole concept called migui. The Mar Savar Mina migui, Ravin holds that you could say such a concept, which is a pella, right? Where do we have this in Shas? If I trust you about these guys that they're no good, I should trust you about these guys. That's migui. It's an interesting migui. Umar Savar Mina migui, and over here Rashi says, Rashi literally says this. It looks like he says it all the way at the end. According to Rav Dimi, he never holds of the whole concept of migui, period. Some Rishonim want to say no, only in this kind of situation he doesn't say migui. It seems like Rashi is saying in general, Rav Dimi doesn't believe in the whole concept of migui. And that would be the difference between Rav Dimi and Ravin, whether or not we say migui. Gufa. Now Rabbi Say, good news. I see a lot of you guys mamish fell asleep. Wow. No coffee, early in the morning, one of those sugyas. But guess what? Agad at the time. Wake up! Here we go. Full limit of Agad. Geshmak. No! Some people are more up than they were yesterday. It's Geshmak. Guf Omer Rish Lakish. We said yesterday, Pek Chodosh Yom Dovazeh. Rish Lakish says about Reb Meir, such a holy mouth will say such a silly thing. That what? That a defendant has the right to knock out Edom? To just say, I don't like the Edom? And on that, therefore, Rish Lakish has to explain, I don't believe Reb Meir ever said it about Edom. What he said is, Tani Eidoi. He said about Eid Yachid. One aid, a single aid that you have the right to knock out. So the Gemara just has an interesting question. Eini, let's think about this for a second. Rish Lakish, who's Rish Lakish? If I could establish that Rish Lakish was a very, very great man, a brilliant man, so why would he give such a compliment to Reb Meir? Eini, it's an interesting question. Eini. If you saw Rish Lakish in the Beis Medrash, I love this AI stuff. It's not easy to do, but check this out. It's like taking two mountains. If you saw him in Beis Medrash, it's like taking two mountains, grinding them one in the other. In other words, he could take any hard concept and completely destroy the concept. He could do whatever he wants with learning. He's brilliant. So therefore, why would he say, ooh, Reb Meir, Pek Chodesh? Like, he was in awe of Reb Meir. Om Ravina, Ba'aloi kol aroi Reb Meir Beis HaMedrash, Kilo Oike Hari Arim, what's the Shaila? Reb Meir took mountains upon mountains and ground them together. Just, I don't know the exact math. The people that are familiar with this, who's Reb Meir? Reb Meir was the Talmud of Reb Akiva, right? Yeah, but he learned by Reb Akiva. Right before Rebbe, the author of the Mishnah, and then after Rebbe you have the generation of Rav, Reb Yochanan, and then Rish Lakish. So in terms of years, they were probably like 100, 150 years apart from each other. It's a lot. It's like us and the Chofetz Chaim, that kind of thing. But he says, of course Rish Lakish was in awe. Reb Meir is much greater. Oiker Hari Harim, V'toichanan Zebazeh. The Gemara actually says that the halacha should always be like Reb Meir, but we pass like Reb Yehuda everywhere. Why? Not because Reb Yehuda was greater than Meir. Reb Meir is greater than Reb Yehuda. Reb Meir, just nobody understood what he said. Nobody was yored the soif daita. And he could take anything, he could say something that's treif and prove to you that's kosher. Kosher treif. His Talmidim could be matter sheretz 150 times. But we didn't understand. We weren't yored the soif daita, so we couldn't figure out why he said certain things in halacha, and therefore we don't pass like him. But he's great. Rish Lakish. Who's Rish Lakish? Every time Rabbi Yochanan asked a question or said a statement, Rish Lakish would ask 24 questions on it. But Lemais at the end of the day, Hachi Kamer, says the Gemara. Rish Lakish, Ravina wasn't asking a question, how would Rish Lakish say such a compliment? The opposite. He was making a statement, not a question. Look at the people in Eretz Yisrael, because we're going to have a whole sugi now, the difference between Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, they respected one another. Look how Rish Lakish respected Reb Meir, and he called him a Pek Chodesh, and he stuck up for him, and he changed the wording. It's not Eidim, it's Eidoi. And I'll prove it to you. There's a concept in Shabbos called Atmana. It looks something like this. Take a pot of chon, let's say that's hot, and you bury it, so that to save the heat. That's also on Shabbos. What about a bottle of cold Coke? Doing the same thing. You want to bury a bottle of Coke. You're on the beach. You want to make sure that your cold Coke is nice and cold. You allowed to do it or not? So says Rebbe, Osir lahat min esatzoinen. It's Osir. Omer lefanav Rebbe Shmuel Rebbe Yosi. Abba, hitir lahat min esatzoinen. My father, who's his father? Rebbe Yosi. My father said that a bottle of Coke is mutter. in other words, there's no gzeira that you might put a pot of chont. One has nothing to do with the other. If somebody does cold, he's not going to come to do hot. Omarlei, after Rebbe already passing that it's aser, Farhoyer Zaken, your father said it, I'm backing down, I'm retracting, the halacha is, it's permitted. Omar Papa, look how they admire one another, they respect one another. If Reb Yosef was there, he would be machniya himself to Rebbe, he would sit in front of Rebbe. How do I know? The Rabbi Shmuel, Reb Yosef, the son, he was instead of his father, and he sat in front of the Rebbe. And nevertheless, even though he would sit in front of the Rebbe and be a Talmud to Rebbe, and Rebbe said, no, I'm going to listen to the elder, and I'm retracting. Now, who is greater, Rebbe or Reb Yosef? So it's interesting because Rashi and Tosfos have a machlokes in Shabbos, Daf Yomi. Over there, Rashi says that Reb Yosef was greater than Rebbe. Just Rebbe was the Nasi, so therefore he was machniya himself. Tosfos, Rebbe Tam says over there, no. It's true that Rebbe learned by Reb Yosef, and Reb Yosef was greater than Rebbe, but after years of teaching Torah to so many people, and this and that, says Tosfos, Rebbe became greater, and therefore Reb Yosef was machniya himself to him. Rebbe Shaya, I have two sticks. One I called pleasant, noyam. The other one is a chayvel, is a terrorist. I don't know what happened last night, but there was a little scare here in Bet Shemesh. They said that there was a terrorist running around in Dalid. Everybody locked down, and then they caught some guys, but they said maybe it's just illegal workers. I don't know what happened at then. Noyam elu talmidei chacham sheberetz Yisrael. Noyam, pleasant, means the talmidei chacham in Eretz Yisrael. Sheman imim zelo ze b'halacha, because they are pleasant with one another in halacha. If we're already saying Noam, we have to talk about Noam Fix. Obviously, Noam is a pleasant guy. Everybody knows he's very pleasant, and he brings a lot of pleasant things to the Chevra here. He's always the one that makes shalom and peace. I want to tell you one gewaltige ma'ase about Noam that I heard from his mouth at his own Sima Shas. He said a very good thing. He said that when he moved in here to this block on Nachal Noam, he lives on Nachal Noam, that he bought a house, and before he moved in, he hired 10 Koil guys, and he paid each one $100. And I know one of them is an hour Koil, Yakim, and he had them learn all night. And after they learned all night in his house, then he moved in. Made it up himself. Geshmak. Bring in his house with Kedusha. Says Gemara. There's a group of people, that's their name. Choivlim, the Mechablim, they heard each other about halacha. Oh, we have a good picture here. Check this out, it goes quick. He poked him in the eye with his thumb. You don't know what you're talking about. Reb Chaim Bechlal didn't mean that. Gitzer, he's the tough guys in Bavel. So another pasuk we're doing Agata now. Yitzar is oil, olive oil. Olive oil is the best oil. Then it says two olives, not olive oil. What's the difference in the lashon? Says the Gemara, Yitzar oil. They're smooth. They're easy with each other. They talk nicely to one another, like olive oil. I did a lot of stupid things in my life. Right up there in the top of the list is when I was on a teal with my family, and I saw a nice Geshmak olive on the tree. I said, oh, this is going to be Geshmak. I like olives. So what's the difference if it's on the tree or not? So I grabbed it and I ate it. And I had charata for 2 hours. It's a taste that you cannot, I'm serious, do not even try it. Don't say, oh, he said it in cheer, let me see if he was exaggerating. I'm not. Whatever I'm telling you now is exaggeration the other way. It's something you can't get out of your mouth. Mouthwash, toothpaste, this, that. I ate an ice cream and then pizza, and then I had a steak. The taste was still there. It's the worst ever, I'm serious. There's something that sticks to the inside of your mouth. Vishnayim Zaysim Aleh Tamid Chacham Shebebavel Shemorim Zel Zev Halacha Kezayis. They're bitter like a olive. There's a passage that says, I lifted my eyes and I see V'inei Shtayim Noshim Yotzes V'ruach B'Kamfeim. They have wind in their wings. You think it means a good thing. They have wings like a stork. Here we even have here in Eretz Yisrael. Avi told me I got to go here, and I always wanted to go here, but I never made it out there. Chula, millions of birds, literally millions coming from Africa. Is there a runway there? I didn't know there's a runway, right? What? There is. I'm asking. That's Megiddo runway. Here it is. You see, that's the runway on the right. Okay, so. Yeah, you don't want a bird strike coming in there, huh? It's not. You don't. It's probably not operable half the year. I'll go upon him. Why is she called a Hasidah? Because she's mischased. She does chesed with her friends. So the obvious question is, so why is she treif? Because she only does chesed with her friends. Hint, hint. No, there's groups of people we only do with Ashkenazim. We only do with Sephardim. We only do with Chassidim. We only do with Litvaks. No, you do with everybody. All Yidden, MDY. Batiseno Ephah, and they lifted, Ephah is a weight. It's a type of a weight. Batiseno Ephah, which means the Yetzara, Beina Shomayim Uveina Aretz. Between heaven and earth. Voimer Lamal Chadover B. Onaim Amelicha is a Ephah, where they bring this weight. They told me, Livnois Labai is buried Shinar to build a house in Bavel. Shinar. Says Rashbi. Zu Chanufa v'Gasus Haruach. This wind in the wings is referring to Gasus Haruach, arrogance. It's called Gasus Haruach. It's wind. Chanufa. What's Chanufa? To flatter somebody, to give somebody flattery when they're not deserving. In other words, when somebody does something wrong, it's a big yesod, right? Somebody does something wrong, and you give them the confidence and the idea that you're good with them. You're too embarrassed to tell them that they're no good. You look them in the face and say, what you just did is asur. Asur. Flattery means, I'm okay with what you did. That's a bad thing. It's like, it's the opposite of being moichiach. Moichiach means to tell somebody off on an issue they do. Flattery means the opposite. You're saying, yeah, you're a good guy, don't worry. That rabbi doesn't know what he's talking about. You're good, stay, do it. Kiddush club, it's good. No, I just threw something out. Stop. Kiddush club is excellent for the right people. But flattery. The Aruch Tzadikim says there are times that you're allowed to flatter. When? When you're flattering your child, your Talmud, your Rebbe. You want your Rebbe to learn with you, so you give him flattery. You say, oh, you're the best Maggid in the world, you changed my life, da-da-da-da-da, and then you try to get in there like that. That's mutter. All those emails are mutter. It's a mitzvah. But you don't want him to have Gasus Haruach. Okay, whatever. It's a very delicate balance. V'omar mar. Oh, another very interesting thing he talks about. Ayin Shavim not passing, but you're allowed to flatter your borrower. You have a guy that didn't pay you in 6 years. You tell him, I heard you're such a great guy. You're such an honest person. I heard you pay back very much on time. Isn't that? And like this, you open him up so he pays you back. He talks about that. But in general, when a guy does something wrong, you're not supposed to. They came down to where? To Bavel. Ask the Gemara, Bavel Nachas. What? This arrogance came down to Bavel. 10 portions of gases came down to the entire world. Persia got 9 out of the 10. Why are you telling me Bavel? Says Gemara in the Bavel Nachas. First, it went down to Bavel. That's where it landed. Eventually, it moved its way on to Persia. We're talking about 2 women. He saw Nashim, right? What was the pasuk over there? And all of a sudden it says Livnois La She built a house in Shinar in Bavel. So where did the other one go to? The other one went to Elam. Shma mina. Bamar Mar, similar gas to Ruach Aniyos. But we learned that if you want to know where this haughtiness, there's people that are poor. Ba'aniyos lebavel nachas. To be, how do you say poorness? Well, many poor. Poverty, thank you. Poverty is in Bavel and not in Elam. What are you telling me that the gas is Ruach in Elam? Says the Gemara, my aniyos Torah. That they had the poverty that they had was because they didn't teach Torah. Huh? Yeah. The aniyos. What aniyos are we referring to over here? Aniyos of not teaching Torah, and that Daniel didn't teach Torah. Ezra did teach Torah in Bavel. They say in Hebrew, or a lot of Rosh Yeshiva say, La aniyos daiti nira. You ever heard that? That could be a simon of aniyos. D'chsiv, achois lanu ktanu v'shadayim ein lo. This woman doesn't have the ability to nurse her kid. In other words, he's not giving over Torah. He's not teaching. They learn Torah. They have Daniel that wasn't able to teach. They didn't want to learn from him. My Bavel was saturated with Shnai Mikra, with Torah, with Chumash. Belula b'Mishnah, they're saturated with Mishnah. Belula b'Talmud. So there's a Mordek Tosfos. I quote this a lot to a lot of people because when I try to convince people to do the daf, they tell me, I learned Chasidus, they tell me. A lot of people say, but I learned Chasidus, or I learned Mishnayos, the guy on this block. I learned Mishnayos. Why do I have to learn Gemara? Where does it come from, this whole Gemara thing? So Tosfos says, what we learn Gemara, it sounds like a ptur, but it's it says in Avodah Zarah, that a person should learn Chumash, Mishnah, and Gemara. And when we learn Bavli, as we see, we're learning Psukim, we're learning Navi, we're learning Musar, we're learning Agadata, we're learning all sorts of things. So you mekayim everything in one shot. It doesn't just include Agadata or Chasidus or one thing, it includes everything. But nevertheless, he says everybody should read Parshas HaTamid, which I very much advise. If you can't do Karbanas, you should at least say the Parshas HaTamid, which is the main one of all the Karbanas. You don't have to exaggerate and do two, just do one. Okay, you could do those three things by saying a little bit of Karbanas. Says the Gemara weiter in the Gadata in the darkness, he had me sit there like a dead man. So what does it mean? Bavel, the Talmud of Bavel is like darkness, is sitting with the dead. Says Rashi, they don't get along well with each other. So it's dark. And the whole Shas is full of Safek and Machlokes. So ask the Rambam, if that's the case, the Refuah also in Yuma says mamish the same words as the Rambam. Why do we learn Shas then? If Shas is dark, Mechashakim kim say oilam. This is the Rambam asking the question. Why do we learn Shas? We're busy all day with Talmud Bavli, not Yerushalmi. So he says, this Gemara is talking about in the generation of Rabbi and Rav Yosef, where they had a lot of tzaras in Bavel. There's a shmad and tzaras, so the learning wasn't very good. But later on, as it says, from Rebbe, all the way from the author of the Mishnah, all the way to Rav Ashi, the one who wrote the Gemara. So the whole period of Amirayim was Givaldik time and Fakert. That's when there was Torah Gdula b'Makim Echad from Rebbe and Rav Ashi, and people lived well and they learned well. Givaldik. And the Kotzker Rebbe says over on this pasuk, Chashakim says it means Golos. When you have nothing, it's dark, it's Golos. What do? Hoishivani, if you want to have Yishuv Adas, what do? You learn Torah. It says the Eilige Mishnah. Omar Loi, we had this yesterday, so we're familiar with this. Omar Loi Neman Olei Abba. I'm being judged. We're going to a Bezdin, me and you. And I say, I trust my own father to be the judge. Neman Olei Vicha, I trust your father. Neman Olei Shleisha Roya Bakar. I trust these three clowns right over here. The three Roya Bakar. You can lower it a little bit. Whatever. So what's the point? The point is, these guys are not learned. And I was thinking to myself, wow, we're bringing as an example Roya Bakar, where the greatest human beings that ever lived were all shepherds, right? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, especially Yaakov. Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd. David HaMelech was a shepherd. Rebbe Kiva was a shepherd. Bekitzer, who else? All the Shvatim. I remember, because you have so much time to spend with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're by yourself. Nobody sees you. You're by yourself, and you're just looking at these sheep. So you're able to think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have a lot of izbaididus with Hashem. We're going to see in the Gemara. The Gemara talks about, I'm just looking for my water here. And I have to give another share soon. Wow, I'm looking forward. If you accept upon yourself your father, his father, you could retract. You cannot retract. If you had to give your friend a shvuah because let's say you were a moed miktzas, he said you owe him 100. You admitted to 50. You have to bring a shvuah. He says, I don't want you to hold a Sefer Torah and swear in Hashem's name. What you should do is just swear on your own head. In other words, let's do a private shvuah. You could retract that. You cannot retract. When a person accepts upon himself his father or his friend's father, what is it talking about? That there's three judges. And I accept my father as one of the three. Omar Rav Yehuda Shmuel says, Shmuel, machloikis b'macholach. What does macholach mean? When nothing comes out of your pocket, and I agree that you don't have to pay me, so there's nothing going on there. There's no transaction. You just don't do anything. You shev al taisa, machol. So that I could agree that my father is a good judge, your father is a good judge. But if I say, the defendant, I say that I will pay you out of my own pocket. So we have here, check this out. Shmuel, when it comes to machol, that's where the whole machlokes is. Because nothing's coming out of his pocket. But eten, I'm going to take out of my pocket $100 and give you. That everybody holds, I could take back. I could retract. I never made a kinyan to be mishabed money to come out of my pocket. That I never did. Yeah, sort of like a smachta. Reb Eli, which is also on this daf. Reb Eli, beten loch machlokes. Reb Eli says not like that. The second case, eten, when something has to come out of my pocket, that's where the machlokes is. And then he stops short. He doesn't explain anything else. So what does he hold when a guy's moichel? Does he hold? So says the Gemara, Iboilu, be'etin loch machlokes, ava b'mochel loch divrei hakol en yochel achzer boy. Here, I filled it in. It went from a question mark, I don't know what he says in this box, mochel. Does he say, no, you can't retract? Or dilma bein bezu machlokes, or perhaps there's a machlokes in that box also. Toshma, Domarova, machlokes be'etin loch. Check this out. Now we have a Rava, and we have a question mark. So let's say that Rava matches Rabbi Yochanan. That's all the Gemara is saying. That what? That in that question mark box, excuse me, we're going to put in that according to everybody, you can't take it back. It's a mechila. Mechila, nothing came out of your pocket, so you cannot retract. How? Because otherwise, who does Rava say like? Rava must be saying like somebody. And the only way to match up Rava now is to say machlokes be'etin and l'kula am aloi chayzer, and Rabbi Yochanan is going to say machlokes be'etin and l'kula am aloi chayzer. It's perfect. Lines up. Rava lines up with Rabbi Yochanan. But if you're going to say that everybody holds, that the Rabbi Yochanan holds in machol, that's a machlokes, Rava dama, come on, the Rava doesn't line up with anybody. He'll say in both cases, l'kula am aloi chayzer doesn't go like anybody. Says Gemara, no, not a good raya. Rava Taimid enough Sheikh Omar. He's a third opinion. He doesn't agree with Rabbi Yochanan. He says his own thing. Why not? We could prove it from our Mishnah. Think about it for a second. When a guy swears, he swears that What does he swear? You say you owe me $100. I admit to 50. I have to swear. If I swear, then what happens? I don't have to pay anything. I'm done with 50. So that's a case of between the two things, machol and eten. What is it? Machol. I don't have to take out of my pocket anything. I swear that I don't owe you any more money, and I don't pay anything. That's a case of machol, not eten. I don't have to come out of pocket. Says Gemara. Now our Mishnah says if you owe somebody shvuah, you don't have to swear in Bezdin, just give me a private shvuah. You could take it back. Isn't it a case of, let's say, where I swear and I don't pay? That's literally a mechila. And you see there, according to a mayor, you could retract. And Rava said, according to everybody, you can't retract. Yeah, look at this chart. According to Rava, by machol, you cannot retract. We just have a case that, according to Rava, you could retract. Loi. It's not a case of machol, it's a case of eten. Loi. What's a good case where somebody swears and he takes money? An employee. An employee who claims he wasn't paid, since his boss has so many employees, it's very possible his boss forgot. And therefore, he swears and takes his salary. And that's a case of etain, of giving, coming out of pocket. Let's just say the sponsor real quick, wherever it is. My guy in the booth is sleeping. Where is he? Oh, Shalom. Hi. Turn to the Daf Teves, Berkovici family, in honor of them, the White Daf champions, Leo, Shamshi, Shlafrak, Uncle Freddie, Mr. Gross. And the Refuah Shelaima of our fearless leader in chief, Chaim Gabriel ben Sivilano, by the members of the Monsey Fire Department. 19 of them are doing the daf. And Yaakov Sitra and Sitra Films, strategic video production. Where is he? Yaakov and Nishdahind. Doesn't come on fast days, maybe. Says the Gemara, this exact case is literally like the Reisha. So why would Shvuah, why does the Mishnah say another case of Shvuah when it mimics the Reisha? Says the Gemara, amazing. When I tell my father, I trust my father to be my judge, it's different than when I tell the plaintiff that I trust him to swear. It's very different. What's the difference? Utzricha. The Dasacherim means the guy that's standing across from me fighting me. And I tell him, you swear. When I trust my own father, it's like an asmachta. Why? Because I don't believe my father's going to go against me. My father's going to rule in my favor. And when he ruled in your favor, get out of here, Dad. I don't want you. I want a new diet. Okay, so Rameir says he can retract. But when he's going to be mizaki the other guy, no way. But when he tells his counterpart, you swear and take, he knows that the guy's going to swear and take. There's no smachta sort of. It's the guy in front of him that's going to swear. Of course he's going to swear not like he likes. And if we say that only in the case that the baldin in front of him is swearing, and that's the case he can retract, that's why Rabbanan say you can't retract. But in the case of a father, you could retract because he has no avamina. His father's going to rule. His own father's going to rule against him. I need both cases. Amr Shlokish. Machloik is the Vnei Gemar Din. So Rabbi say we have a very similar chart, and it's literally the same thing. Check this out. It mamish mimics what we just saw, just in a different machloikis. Where is the machloikis? Can I retract or not retract? Think about it. Can I retract after the Bezdin Paskin? So Rish Lakish says no. But we're going to see the Zaman that says yes. So Rish Lakish says, Lefnei Gmardin Machloikis, Achar Gmardin, you cannot retract. The Bezdin Paskin already. What are you going to retract? Check this out. Mamish like the other chart. There's a question mark here. And it's the same sugya when we bring it right from the same Mandal Marava, but it's a completely different sugya. It's unbelievable. Reb Eli says that what? After Gemar Din, we have a machlokes, in fact. There's a mandal that says you can retract. Lefnei Gemar Din, we have no idea what Reb Eli said. So what are we going to do when we don't know what Reb Eli says? We're going to do what we did in the first chart. What did we do in the first chart? We brought Rava as a raya. Reb Eli no mar lachim din machlokes. Ibaylu lachim din machlokes. Alfnei Gemar Din, diri akol yochel achzbay. The Rabbi Yochanan say this, let's fill in the box. According to everybody, could retract. Or perhaps no, we'll fill in the box that it's a machlokes. So Gemara says, Tashma Damar Rava, Kibbutz of Kari Apostle. Here, check this out. According to Rava, after the Gemara din, you cannot retract. Before the Gemara din, you could retract. And let's say that Rava is saying what Rabbi Yochanan said, but it's not exactly the same. You see, it says machlokes and leichayzer. Okay, he grabs one of those mandamrim. But in terms of the question mark box, the question mark box is gonna go like Rava that says you could retract before Gemara din. That was the fnei Gemara din yochel azbay, lachar Gemara din yochel azbay. Iyamers b'shloim lachar Gemara din machlokes. If you tell me there's machlokes after the Gemara din, aval lefnei Gemara din divrei kol yochel azbay. Rava Damak Rabbi Yochanan, it's perfect. Now Rava and Rabbi Yochanan line up beautifully. V'aliba the Rabbanan. Rava is going to go in the machlokes. The Rabbi Yochanan brings his machlokes. He goes like Rabbanan. You want to go like Rabbanan, right? Everybody wants to go like Rabbanan. That's how we paskin. Eli Amers bein bezu machlokes. But if you say that this box is machlokes, everything's machlokes according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rava Damak Kaman. How could he not? How could he leave Rabbanan? Elav shmamino lach gmandir machlokes shmamino. We have to say that after Gemara din is machlokes, and you have to that you can't. Machlokes and Rabbanon hold loy chayzer, but lifnei Gemara din you have to continue this line over here. Lifnei Gemara din you hold that he could retract shmamino. Let's just do this real quickly because we already did the sugi. You might as well just finish it. But what's the halacha bottom line? Very simple. I know you're all sleeping, but it's very simple. What's the halacha like? So, over here? Let me just see. No? Here. You saw that? Check this out. After Gemara din, what's the halacha? You see, it lines up. After Gemara din, machlokes. V'halacha kedivrei chachamim, that you cannot retract. Great. It's very similar. But it's the other chart. Machal and eten. Bedelach machlokes or b'machalach machlokes? V'alach k'divrei. Who do we pass on like? Shalach le bedelach machlokes. Check this out. Both machlokes and dance. It's a machlokes when it comes to I have to come out of pocket. V'alach k'divrei chachamim, and the halacha is like chacham that you do not retract. Besur masnahachi. This is how they said it in Syria and Surah b'pumudisa masnahachi. Oh no, Surah is in Babel. In Pubedisa they said differently. What if I throw into this whole picture a kinyan? In other words, I didn't just say I accept upon myself my father. I actually went like this. I lifted up my yarmulke. I said I accept my father. Once you make a kinyan, you cannot retract. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day, easy and meaningful fast. Good Shabbos.